Chapter 6 is finally, for lack of a better term, come to an end. And as per tradition, only done this one time before, it's time for me to take a look back and determine if this chapter was good or bad. Well, to get to the point, Fortnite Chapter 6 was extremely forgettable. Before I get into the seasons though, I want to explain something. I've been playing this game since the spring of 2018, so I've experienced quite a bit of Fortnite. That means I've also not experienced a lot of Fortnite. In fact, the whole second half of Chapter 2, I played maybe a total of 6 matches. I can still tell you anything and everything about any of those 4 seasons because even though I didn't play, I didn't forget. With Chapter 6 on the other hand, I played quite a bit. A lot actually. And 3 out of the 4 seasons, I could hardly tell you how they progressed. Chapter 6 Season 1 was a mythological samurai, ancient Japanese themed season. Honestly, a pretty good theme for a season, except they kind of missed the ball, or missed the bag, or whatever the saying is. They didn't quite make it what it could have been. Overall though, this was a pretty good season, as the first season of any chapter usually is, because it set the bar for what we could expect out of Chapter 6. Introduced us to the new map, loot, lore, and mechanics. Speaking of which, I think this season introduced the further jump when sprinting off the edge of something. I don't know. I saw a couple of plays from professionals using this mechanic to their advantage, and it was really cool to see, but other than that, completely useless. I mean, the only time I would do it is by accident. As for the rest of the season, I couldn't tell you any more about it. I did play a fair amount this season, but they somehow made this season so forgettable. I can tell you the train came back for a second chapter, and to be totally honest, it almost got more use than in Chapter 5, except Season 1 of this chapter wasn't the one to use it. Now, because I have no clue what this supposed storyline is anymore, I'll mention what I think I know about it. A piece of the 0 point for some reason crashed into the island. Chapter 6 Season 2 was an outlaw, heist, underground crime ring, organization theme. Here's the deal. This season was the best of the chapter. The theme of this season is my favorite theme they use like once every 2 chapters. Chapter 2 Season 2, Chapter 4 Season 4, and now Chapter 6 Season 2 have the best themes. They've never missed with a heist theme, and I really appreciate that. I did play this season more than last one, and I do remember much more about it. Of course, new map changes, the one I landed at most being Crime City. The vault was fun to try and open, the loot felt good to use, and the storyline, I couldn't tell you. Once again, no clue as to what's going on lore-wise. This season brought us our 14th million version of Midas, and we got this guy. And most importantly, this season actually used the train. There was a vault set up on the train that you could open, being protected with turrets on the top of the cars, and sometimes a boss would be inside. Overall, my favorite season of the chapter. Chapter 6 Season 3 was superhero themed. Now typically, when a superhero theme shows up, it's Marvel and it sucks. I don't hate Marvel, I hate Marvel and Fortnite. But this season was an honestly refreshing exception. This original superhero themed season was really fun, to be honest, but it wasn't my favorite. Now this was actually recent enough to where I can remember some details without having to look it up. First things first, the map changes were not all that bad. I played a lot less this season than the last one, so as a result, I hardly landed at any of the POIs, but I can say that they weren't so bad. The mechanic of being able to level up, which in return allowed you to open better and better chests, was really cool, and I'm glad they carried it over into next season. I also really enjoyed the pistols that moved you in slow motion, although I usually either died while using them or just didn't use them at all, but I still think they were a cool addition. Other than that though, I once again don't really remember too many of the details, so overall, very cool and refreshing, but just as forgettable as the rest. Chapter 6 Season 4 was, I think, Power Ranger themed. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't know what theme Season 4 was going for. This season starred the Power Rangers, but I have no clue if the whole theme was Power Rangers with the outposts and annoying bugs, because I haven't seen a single episode of the Power Rangers. I don't hate the Power Rangers, I just don't know anything about them. And this season sure as hell did not make me want to know anything about them. Honestly, this season was a bust. If it was Power Rangers themed, then goddamn, the Power Rangers are annoying. Since this one is so recent, I can remember a lot about it, and yeah, just like last chapter, this season was the worst of the chapter. New POIs had annoying bugs, the boss bug was basically irrelevant, the mythic it dropped was not really better than any other weapon you could find. I mean, the best weapon of the season was the Wrecker Revolver, which was just an OP shotgun. And then when they added the hammer back, it was hype for about 20 minutes, and then after one match with them, I realized they weren't what I remembered, and I honestly think they nerfed them a little bit. Other than the theme and map changes, nothing happened. It was just kind of annoying if you landed at a buggy POI for a little bit until you'd come across a bot to kill. Overall, like I said, this season was a bust. I mentioned Fortnitemares and Winterfest last chapter review, and the reason I didn't this time is because they were both really boring and, like I said many times throughout the video, forgettable. The only thing about Fortnitemares is the fact they collabed with Mob to add Poppy Playtime, which I have played on the channel and I'm a fan of. And the repo bots look weird. Winterfest, yeah, I don't know man, I couldn't tell you about it. It was just really boring. I couldn't even tell you if there was a Winterfest. For those of you wondering where the Star Wars miniseason is, I have one word for you. No. And finally, the script is being read at the start of the Simpsons miniseason, and yeah, this is bullshit. I don't hate The Simpsons, like I said, I just don't know anything about it. I find it silly they would dedicate an entire month to a silly show. They didn't do that with any other thing besides Star Wars and Marvel, but you know what, now that I think about it, The Simpsons is probably with Disney, and they're doing this for a contractual obligation. If that's the case, boring elbows will get better. At this point, I have no hope for the future of this game, and I genuinely hope it eventually comes to a peaceful end. I have been let down by this game for the last 3 years, and I'm sick of hoping for a better chapter when that chapter will never come. I also want to point something out that I didn't do a great job at pointing out in my last review video. This video is not an attempt to change the future of this game. I love this game, and as a result, I am very passionate about the direction that this game decides to take. I get sad when I see it fail, and I get happy when I see it succeed. I don't want only people who just hate this game to watch this video. I want people to watch this video with love in their hearts, as I made this video with love for this game in my heart. We will see in a year from now if Chapter 7 will be better or worse than Chapter 6. But that's all I have for you today. I would like to know about your thoughts on the chapter, positive or negative, and as always, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see y'all later. Bye-bye.